everybody. Sorry I'm late this morning. My name is Lisa Dublin. I'm a health and life coach, and I help you to speak and live and lead with confidence. How's everybody doing this morning? I do apologize for being a bit late, okay? I'm talking about resilience this morning. Mm. And I had to practice it because I haven't been live in a bit, so
Hi,
just had to get
everybody.
accustomed to everything else. So I apologize for that. Okay, let's go. So, we want to talk about resilience, and welcome to everyone on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can go like and share this video, that would be great. And I want to start a series for June talking about resilience because it is just so important in this day, I think, more than anything, since COVID in particular, that we have this skill. And what you realize is the more you develop resilience, it works like a muscle. That's what it is. So at the end of this month, we'll be having, I'm starting life classes, and we'll be having just a masterclass on resilience. And just for you to kind of figure out, where am I? What do I need to do for me to beef up and to get strong, to get more resilient in life in particular? So the sign up information will be there for from tomorrow. So you can join me same time, 6 o'clock my time. Not 6:10. I'll try my very best to be here and to make it work on time. And so I usually begin the day by telling my mind, my day, where to go. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably know these confessions by now. So let's go. I am blessed and highly favored, above only and not beneath, the head and not the tail. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I shall lend and not borrow. And I have nothing missing and nothing broken. Special shout out to the diamonds in the To All the Girls Success Club. How are you doing this morning? So let's begin. I won't be very long, right? Because hey, Vicky, how are you? And welcome to everyone joining me on Instagram as well. Let's go. I want to share my screen with you, and so that we can just get into this presentation this morning. Okay. I want to talk about resilience. What is it? Do I need it? Do you have resilience? Do you know what it is? Do you need more of it? We're going to start this series, and I want to look at resilience at work, resilience at home, resilience when you're an immigrant, for example. That too is also important, okay? So, my Instagram people, I know it's kind of showing a little off, but you can join me on Facebook or go quickly to, let me just put this in the captions. If you go to Basement Chronicles on YouTube, you can actually see the entire presentation taking place right now. So do write me and let me know, what you think as I speak, and let's have a really good time. I was trying to look for, I'm on Basement Chronicles. Yeah, well, so you can do Basement Chronicles there as well. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so, what is resilience? There are two definitions that I find so fascinating. Okay, here's the first one. Resilience is the ability to adjust or recover readily from illness, adversity, major life changes, etc. Okay, and I think one of our biggest tests of resilience in our lives personally and globally, nationally, all sorts of ways, in different communities that you belong to, is how did we handle the adversity of COVID? That was a big test for all of us. It was one, obviously, that we didn't see coming, but the way that perhaps you started out, I know I always say that in those first weeks in March of 2020, it was just so iffy and uncertain that, like everybody else, I really felt it deeply. Well, how about you? Hey, Jackie. Hey, Jade. How are you? Hi, Shalan. So the thing is, I remember very clearly, about maybe a couple weeks into COVID, my office had started doing the whole virtual thing, and there was one meeting that I could not put my camera on because I knew that if I did, and it was a check in kind of session, and I had nothing to check in. I was in pieces, basically, just trying to figure out how to work from home parent from home, homeschool the children at the time because you had to be helping them. They were new to the situation. It was just overwhelming. And I couldn't put on my camera. I gave some nonsense excuse about the children being in the background and I didn't want to, disturb everybody. But you know what? The reason was that if I had seen faces and had faces see me, I would have just simply broken down, just burst into tears. I saw, and I didn't want to do that. So that was part of the reason that, I'm sure we all had our coping strategies for handling COVID. I know very early I realized a couple of things. Number one, get deeper into prayer. That always worked, right? Get deeper into prayer, get with God. There was time available because the office was just down in the basement. I had more time on my hands. I needed that kind of backing. I needed that extra encouragement. What did you do? Hey, Emlyn, how are you? And also, then I got a treadmill because I was like, I am going to go crazy in this house with these kids only. Okay. That was another thing that I did. And another thing that helped me, it's coming out in my upcoming book that I've written and I'm now revising. I built routines very early, and that actually helped me. But enough about that. I'm running ahead of myself. Let's go to the second definition of resilience. And I love this one because I get to be able to relate it to who we are as people, whether at the end of your adversity, right? You can return to being yourself. Yes, stronger, but without any bitterness or any I like to call it like you don't have the smell of the smoke of the fire that you went through. So here's this definition, the second definition: the power or ability of a material to return to its original form, position after being bent, compressed, or stretched. Where do you find yourself today in terms of resilience? Where do you find yourself? What was the latest adversity that you had to overcome, and did you? Now, this is not meant to make us feel bad, to make anyone feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing well. Well, if it does make you feel that way, perhaps it's a good time to start working on that skill. Because when we go into why should you be resilient, I want to go to these reasons right now. Here's the first reason. We all know, hey, Evelyn, we all know that life will bring challenges. No one can get away from it. If you are living, you have a mixed bag, blessings and challenges, and having to deal with stuff every day that you'd rather not deal with, things coming at you unexpectedly. Might as well develop the skill of being able to bounce back and to overcome, because challenges are going to come anyway. Here's another reason that you want to develop the skill. You're not just born with resilience, it's something you develop. Okay? And that is good news for those people who perhaps don't have it. I know I'm way more resilient after COVID than before. I'm way more resilient after having been through disappointments and failings than before, that if I didn't have them. What about you? The second reason is that having that muscle developed of resilience, it's going to get you the reward. There's something I like to see: no rocks without river. Okay. And also, I mean, you really cannot paint a sunset before it's the sunset. You cannot get to the bigger thing, the better thing before you go through certain things. Okay. There are some things you can only know because you have been through them. And there you want to come out on the other side and get that reward of having overcome and being able to recognize that growth and being able as well. If I went through that, I can perhaps handle some other kind of thing. So there are some things, because of resilience, you will get the reward. And if we give up too early, if we give up while we're going through, if we wilt, if we fail, if we falter and don't get up and we just give in and we say that it's over, we never learn the lesson or get that reward from the lesson as if we had endured and been resilient. Okay. So I was going back. Okay, by the way, before we go on, do you guys know the difference between resilience and resiliency? Oh my gosh, you guys, there is no difference. Okay, it's like tomato, tomato. Which one do you prefer? Just use it. I prefer resilience. I think I find like resiliency just came on later. I don't know if anybody has that feeling or found that. So I just say resilience. But if you say resiliency, there's nothing, it's neither right nor wrong. They're both right, in other words. Okay. So I wanted to clear that up because when I started doing the work on this project, that's one of the first things that I went to research. Like, okay, is it resilience or is it resiliency? And the dictionary said it's either. Okay. All right. Here's a third reason. I have four. Here's a third reason that you want to be resilient. Being resilient, that ability to overcome, that ability to bounce back from adversity, from failure, from disappointment, right? From unexpected things happening in your life. It makes you less needy and dependent on other people for happiness, for success, and opportunities. It means that you're not just walking around disappointed. He did me wrong, she did me wrong, I'm this way because of that person, whatever. There's a sense in which being resilient makes you take responsibility for yourself. And if you take responsibility for yourself, you know what? You're literally more likely to just love people without expecting too much from them, have some kind of a healthy relationships all the time. So you want to develop that skill, because when you are self-sufficient that way, when you're able to overcome and develop that skill within you, you are less reliant on people. Now later on in the month, one of the things we're going to see is that 10 ways to be resilient is to have a support system. That is one of them. So I'm not saying be self-reliant. There's a difference, right? You need people. You can't do everything on your own. There are some challenges where you literally need a village and a community to help you through. But that inner strength that, just goes hand in hand with being resilient. It does make you less dependent on people for the things that should be your responsibility anyway. Hi, Dr. Bennett Charles. Thanks for watching. Okay, here's the next thing. And I love this one. I am always the student of the comeback. So what if I fail? I can find a way. I can land on my feet, because I have landed on my feet many times. Resilience makes you less afraid. So remember, we're looking at why should you be resilient? Resilience makes you less afraid to fail, because you know that you will be able to survive if you do. You're like, so what? So what if I fail? I'll find a way. I did this before. I'm going to do it again. Right? Let me stop sharing so that my Instagram people can see a little bit of everything that's going on here. All right, folks. So this is the first one. This is the entire. We're going to do an entire series. I want to really go deep in resilience, because I'm not sure. What's obviously we don't know what's going to happen next in the world, but I feel like it's time to start reflecting on the COVID experience. Yes, it's still going on and all of that, but we have to admit that our world has opened up somewhat. It's no longer even the is it the WHO? World Health Organization, it has downgraded COVID. It's no longer like a pandemic and all of that. And so there are those challenges, there are those, um, you know, developments with the pandemic that we have to acknowledge. And it's time to start reflecting on what did I do during COVID? What did I do well? What didn't work, what worked, what didn't work, what can I do better? And I feel like it's time to start doing that. And for me, the push is start to grapple with the things we went through and how we handle them, so that potentially we can get ready for the next thing if it does come, all of that. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So join me again tomorrow 6 o'clock, and we continue talking about resilience. I want to start in this series, some tips for developing resilience in your life. Hey Liz, how are you? It's a rainy day in Trinidad. You really tapped into your purpose. That's good to hear. Yes, thank you. The Liz is part of. I have a club on Facebook, the To All the Girls Success Club, and especially on a Saturday morning, we really go deeply into spiritual things in particular. So if you're wanting to join, please go ahead, find the club, ask to join, answer the questions, and I'll get you in. And you can join us, especially on a Saturday, where we really share deeply and just exclusively to the club. Okay. So, are you resilient? How do you judge yourself? Here's your question for you today. What was the last challenge that you experienced that came your way, and how did you handle it? And perhaps you can grade yourself on, your level of resilience. My last challenge was this morning. Okay, just it did. Instagram didn't work. Oh my gosh, Instagram didn't work. Then trying to get everything together, even though I started preparing early, no. And I had to be like, Lisa, you know what? Maybe we have to redo everything. You know, what time you start getting ready, you probably need to start even earlier than this, because I thought I had started, in time, but and it was, how when you start something, it's always a little choppy, scrappy. It's never as smooth as when you get into the groove and you just you just, just run through the paces. So I think I'm restarting going live again. And so these are the growing and teething pains. But anyway, um, just be resilient, bounce back. There's a lot to talk about where resilience is concerned. Hey, Christy, how are you? Yes, you popping in for a quick sec. What are you doing, Christy, that you're popping in for a quick sec? Where are you going to? I just have a couple more minutes, so stay with me, okay? So tell me what you want to talk about, about resilience. I'm also very big as an immigrant professional. I'm also big on highlighting the stories of immigrants who have endured and overcome. I am one of those. It's never easy starting over in a new country. It's, oh geez, Lord, that's like a whole story, but I hope to share more of my story of resilience this month, in the month of June. And as I said, towards the end of the month or early July, we're going to have a workshop on resilience. So get ready for that. I want you to register. Come. The thing is, personal development can never go wrong. Like, you can't go wrong with something like that, in terms of stopping for a couple hours just to figure out who you are, catching a bus with a 5 year, oh my gosh, Christy, yeah, 2 5-year-olds. You'd love to stay there? Okay, well, watch the replay and put your comments. I always appreciate your comments, Christy. You know why? Because you're just contrary. You don't think like everybody else. And I absolutely love that. So I'd love to hear what you think. My friends on Instagram, you'll have to join me live because I don't think I can save this. So, oh my gosh, you guys, guess what? My niece is on. What are you doing? What are you doing on Instagram at this time? Excuse me. I think you should be in school. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining me this morning, and see you tomorrow. As I said, we have begun the series on resilience. So bring your questions, drop me a DM, and hoping you can sign up for the resilience workshop that I'll be having at the end of the month. Like, I'm going to do it in person here in Canada for the first time, and I'm also going to be doing it virtually at different times. So the two would be simultaneous. Like, you know how now we have hybrid everything, and what I'm realizing is, I don't know, like, in person has a different feel. And like, yes, you can do hybrid, but even for a facilitator, yes, I can do the both of them, but each one creates a different vibe, a different feeling, and um just a different kind of environment, which is what I'm really after. Because if you give people an experience, then they're more likely to come back. So I'm looking to create that sense of, I want to grow, I can learn in this environment and be myself, and learn, do it in person here in Edmonton, and also do it virtually for my friends all over the world. So thank you for joining me. Remember, the question is for today, because you want to apply whatever little thing you learn every day. That's how you get better. The question for today is, What was the last challenge that I experienced? And how did I handle it? You perhaps, if you want to, you can go further and grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. One being I totally fell apart. I need help. I need to do the master class. And 5 would be, oh my goodness, I handled that one well. Right? I'm proud of myself. I did what I was supposed to. I have come out stronger. I survived it. I overcame it. It was big. It tried to break me, but I got myself back together again. So that would be a 5. I don't know too many people who are at a 5. I think there's always room to grow the muscle of resilience, and that's what I'm hoping to do this month. So thank you guys for joining me, and see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Carpe diem. See you. Bye bye.